Hi everyone, it's craftytinas. Today's video is on another punch board. This is the We Are Makers or the We Are Memory Keepers, whichever way you refer to them. Some of their boards say makers, some of them say We Are Memory. This is the 123 punch board. This is a newer board from We Are Memory Keepers. I'm not really sure exactly how old this board is or how long it's been around, but it is still readily available, so it's not discontinued. Now, Christmas is coming and you guys are wanting your list for Santa. So I just got this board and I wanted to put this video out to show you what this board does and let you know if you need this video or not. Everybody's going to have a different opinion about this board. So far, I like it. I like it for a few different reasons that we'll go over, but I want to talk to you about what this board does. You're going to see on the cover, you're going to see on the instructions on the board itself. They're calling this the 123 punch board because it makes 1, 2, 3 different items from one punch board. Normally when we have a punch board, and this is my very first punch board from We Are Memory Keepers, this is the envelope punch board, and normally it has one function. We sometimes go beyond that punch board and make other things, but the purpose of the punch board is one function. In this case, it is to make envelopes. It has one scoring line, a punch that has a front punch and a back punch, so it does have two features, but it's all about making the envelope. Comes with your little scoring tool, a punch, a scoring line, and the directions are usually printed on the board. Now, sometimes the earlier or the newer punch boards don't have the directions printed. You have to refer to the book, or if you're on my Facebook page, you can refer to my spreadsheets because we have had a lot of punch board problems where we want to make more than the actual punch board is telling us we can make. In this case, for like the pocket punch board, I've typed up so you can read it all of the different sizes. Put it in a full page sheet that you can fold in half and then bind. And we have this for the shadow box, we have it for the pocket punch board, we have it for the exploding box. We have a very wide variety when you're doing the cinch binding machine. So if you need some help or some more directions, jump over to my Facebook page and print out or download one of the spreadsheets that will help you with the punch boards. Now, because this does envelopes, it is taking the place of the envelope punch board. To make envelopes is the same on this one as it is on this one. And that is the same for the box. The box punch board, and it says gift box punch board, does the same as this gift box punch board. So this board has replaced two punch boards. If you don't have either of these boards, let's say you don't have either one of them, this is a good deal because you're getting two in one. This bow can just as easily be made with the envelope punch board. I make bows on this, and I even have a video showing making bows on this punch board. But I'm kind of happy with We Are Memory Keepers this time, is their instruction book, although it is still lacking, they're giving us ideas. So I think maybe they saw how we're having to go online and help each other figure out more ways of using our punch board. Because technically this board is made for an envelope, a bow, or a box. It opens up so that you have all three, your envelope, your bow, and your box. And they even color-coded the board to match the back that shows you all of your sizes. So they made this so that your dimensions and your sizes are printed right on the board, but they didn't have room to put it on this board. Normally they would list all your sizes and then you would have your punch and your lines. But this board has a lot going on, so they made this little door, I guess, to open up. It kind of sturdies the thing a little, so I don't mind it. It's not in the way. It does lay flat. It's got a nice hinge, so this is okay with me. One thing they included, and I thought that was kind of nice, is they included the same directions in centimeters. They did not include the little drawings to show you box or envelope, bow, and box. They didn't include it, which I don't know why. They kept the colors close. They're not they're not exact. They're like a gold, a bluish, and a bright teal, where this is like a blue, a purple, and a gold. But if you put this on here, because that's what it's intended for, this is a sticker, you're covering up the picture of the three items. So I would suggest before you put this on here, if you're going to put the centimeters on here, cut this box right here out so that these show through so that you can see them just like it's intended. But it was nice of them to include the centimeters. Now let's talk about how they've color coded it. This teal color is for the envelope. So the only teal on here refers to the envelope. Now, one thing this board can do that our regular envelope punch board cannot, and that is make deep or thick envelopes. It can makes a very boxy envelope, and I'm going to show you that one today. I'm not going to show you everything it makes today. This is just a first look and getting you started and show you what you can make. But this board is going to require a couple of different videos because I want you to be able to remember what you see. I don't want to give you too much at one time. And I'm sure you're not going to sit here and watch this video for hours because basically I could keep making things for hours. So they color coded it. The teal, you have two lines here, envelope scoring groove. So you're going to score this line and this line when you're making the envelope. That's the teal. To make the bow, it's in purple. Right here, number two, and there's this purple little line here, which is basically all you need. You will need the measurements. They're not in purple, they're in teal. Kind of a little bit of a flaw if their theory is that you should stay with the purple to make a bow, but you still need these little numbers. So maybe these numbers should have been black and been used for anything instead of just teal, making you think they're only for the envelope. This is the punch guide. This is the box scoring line. This is gold. Small, medium, large, and extra large is gold. This is set up, this gold here for our box is set up exactly like our box board is. We have the small, medium, extra large. We have the extra small, large, medium, small, small, medium, large, extra large, small, medium, large, extra large. It is the exact same as this board. So we can make boxes exactly the same using either board. Except this one has the little cutout that's kind of a hook that you can close the box. This one side has that, and one side's just a rounder, and I think I have that backwards. This side is the one that makes the hook, and this side makes just the round. The round is needed for the envelope. The hook is needed to close the box. But there's a little twist on the boxes on this. But this is the same board as this. The other thing is the bow, and it's a very, very simple, very short steps. I did compare the sizes. They're giving you the same sizes for the envelope as the envelope punch board. They're giving you the same sizes for the box. And they're just giving you a few sizes for the actual bow. But for the bow, we know already that you can make that any size you want. You can have the tails any size you want. We know making bows, you can do more. So let's talk about their instruction book. Their instruction book has pictures of other things. There is this cute little, and they're calling it a coin envelope. Not really sure why it's called the coin envelope, but it is cute. There's also another box here that has a string running through two holes. They're calling that the string box, I think. And then down here, they actually have a copy of a folder that you can make, a file folder using this board. Inside, the instructions are a little lacking. Here's our envelope one. It does tell you step by step. I don't think it gives you enough information, but if you've ever used one of these boards before, you're going to be fine with the instructions. If you haven't ever used one of these boards before, I have a lot of videos on punch boards. Make sure you check them out. It will really help. So here's the envelope section, very typical for us. Here's the bow section. It tells you step by step how to make the bows. You have the box that has the hook. Using this punch, it will allow you to lock the lid together. And then we're going to start something that's not listed, and it's something not on the board itself. Envelope liner. Now, an envelope liner is nothing more than a different color paper put inside the envelope so that when you open the flap, you can see a different type of paper, and we're going to do that here in a minute. So you're going to make the envelope just like the first instructions tell you to, and then you're going to make a smaller envelope. You're going to cut it into 4 pieces, and you're going to have 4 liners. This is not in the instructions on the board itself because the liner is made just like the envelopes. So that was nice. They added something extra to their instructions. They gave you an idea. The next thing I saw was this string tie box. Now, normally we close the box all the way, basically using the little flaps. But this one is allowing us to punch a hole in all 4 flaps, run a string through it, and it gathers them together. Pretty neat concept, except there's no hole punch on this board. You would think if they want me to punch a hole in all 4 little flaps, there would have been a hole punch here. This is a rounder. This is the one with the slice in it. And this is the U-shaped V. There's no way to punch a hole. So unless you have a hole punch, and I'm just using one of my punches from my hinge punch from the window or the shadow box. So I do have a hole punch, but you're going to give me this direction with no hole punch. Let's show you what punches we have. First is the left side. It is simply a rounder. The next one is on the right side, and it is the slice so that you can lock the box to shut flat. And then the other side of the punch is simply your U shape that you're going to use to make boxes and envelopes. There's no hole punch. This coin envelope. It's a cute little envelope. It shows you how to start and how to end up with this envelope using basically the envelope punch board part. But it let you go one step further. This is unusual for me anyway, to see the punch boards offering you suggestions to make something else other than just what you're used to making. And then the next thing is the file folder cards. It makes a cute little file folder using the punch board. And that is it. So it does give you 3 more items than the 3 it shows. You're able to make envelopes, bows, and boxes. That is standard, 1, 2, and 3. It goes a little further, lets you make liners for your envelopes, such as this, totally different paper. It made a liner that doesn't quite go to the edge. It's going to let you make a string tie box, and it's going to have you make a coin envelope and a file folder. So it goes a little beyond just what's here on the board. So to buy this board, make sure that there is something here that you wish to make on a regular basis. If you're only making one envelope, don't buy an envelope punch board. Go online, get you an envelope template, print it out, cut your envelope, and call it a day. If you're going to make more than 1 or 2 envelopes, you're going to want a punch board. And this is the 1, 2, 3 punch board. Now let's make an envelope and show you how very simple this board is. Actually, let's start with a bow. There are 5 different sizes. We have extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, and extra, extra large. So what I did was I cut the paper, the sizes it said to cut for the extra, extra large. We're going to make the biggest bow, and then we're going to make the smallest bow. So you can see the difference. I'm going to follow the instructions so I can show you how to read them. And the first thing we're going to do is find what bow size we want. We already know we're doing the extra, extra large. My paper width, which means my strip, needs to be 1.5. And then you need 3 pieces of paper, A, B, and C. A needs to be 10 inches. B is 5.25. And C is this little bitty piece right here. C is only 3/8 of an inch wide. All of these are 1.5, and then the lengths are different. Are actually when they're sitting here, the height is 1.5 on all 3 pieces. The width is 10, 5.5, and 3/8. We're going to trim the paper, which we didn't want to bore you, to the correct sizes for A, B, and C. First thing we're going to do is we're going to align the left edge of paper length A to punch guide A measurements. This is A, it's the first piece we cut out, and it will tell you when you're looking at your guide, A is the 10 inches. We're going to move these over to the side for a second. That means our punch guide is 5 for the letter A. So we have a punch guide A and a punch guide B. Punch guide A is for this one because this is A, and punch guide B is for this one because that is B. So 5 means we're going to put this piece of paper at the 5-inch mark. Remember I was telling you the bow requires the measuring tape. So even though the bow is purple writing, you're going to use the tape measure for the bow as well as the envelope. So you're going to punch. You're going to flip it so that it's straight across. We're going to put it back on the 5 and we're going to punch it. Just like the little pink piece of paper here, it shows it's punched on top and bottom. That is piece A. We're going to flip the page. Align paper length A with the bow guide, then punch, rotate, and flip as necessary to punch all 4 corners. So this is the purple writing. It says the bow guide. We're going to put it right even with the line. We're going to punch, and it ripped the paper. Did not do that before. I think it was my paper, not necessarily the punch. So we're just going to tear that off where it punched. We're going to flip the paper over. I'm going to make sure there's nothing in there. I'm going to flip the paper over and punch. Seriously, dude. I had no trouble with this punch a few seconds ago, guys. Let's try again. We're going to line it up to the guide. There's where we go. We're going to line it up to the guide again. I don't know why it was having issues over here. I'm going to put it back. So I'm not sure why it didn't punch properly, but this is the back side, so I don't care. But this is what it needs to look like. You're going to have this little shape on both sides. You're going to have the U's in the center. That is piece A. So now we're going to align the left edge of the paper to B. We're going to go here. Our guide says that B needs to be 2 5/8. So we're going to take this piece, 2 5/8, and we're going to punch the center basically. Just double checking my numbers. Always double check before you do anything. The problem I have is this isn't centered, so it was bothering me. I'm going to go 2 5/8. So I'm going to make sure that this was 5 1/4. My problem is this is 5 3/4. So my measurement was off. I did not measure properly. And because of that, my bow would have been off-centered. Because I made this 5 3/4 instead of 5 1/4, like my guide says, and even the guide here, This says 2 5/8. My paper should have been 5 1/4. It does not say 5 3/4. So I did not cut my paper out correctly. That is what's going to get an off-centered bow. If your paper is not cut to the measurements they give you, your bow will be off-centered. So if your bow looks off-centered, chances are you did not measure properly. Now this looks like the center, and that is correct. So let's go back. Remember, I don't edit my videos. I make these mistakes so that when you make them, you know how to correct them. Now that I have this piece right here, I have this piece right here. Now it wants me to take piece B. This was A, this was B, and it wants me to put the end into the punch. It's easier just for me to show you than it would be if I read the directions. So you're going to put it in here and you're going to make it in the center of this button. Basically, there's no guide because it doesn't know what width you're using right now. You just simply put it in there and punch. You're going to put the other side in and punch. And now I have the two tails. So I still have A and B, and this little guy right here is C. Everything is now punched. It wants me to assemble. And I'm just going to grab some score tape to assemble because it's so much easier. The first thing I want to secure is I want this end to come to the center. I'm just using score tape. I'm going to bring this in to the center. And the best way to line it up is to line it up with your little edges here. And then I'm going to bring this side to the center again, lining it up with the curves on each side really centers the bow better. This paper is really waxy feeling. I have a feeling that's why it didn't cut good. But now I have a bow. Now it needs to go on the actual back of the bow, which is the tail. Again, we're just going to take some score tape. This would be a great way to make some Christmas bows if you have some Christmas paper or cardstock you're wanting to use. This is paper. You can use cardstock. The cardstock's a little stiffer. Now you can see these white edges because of my punching not doing well. So I'm just going to cut them right off. Perfect. So now I have a bow with my flaps. Just going to make my bow stand up a little more, which will also let you see the bottom piece. In my opinion, this bottom piece needed to be longer. If I made it longer, I would need to make sure I centered my punch. And now I need to add this little guy. And he's really skinny, so we're going to use some skinny score tape on him. I'm just going to put a piece of score tape all the way across him. Make it really easy for us to put him on. You can also use a different color or a different theme for this centerpiece. And you just bend him back. As easy peasy, and I have a bow. I didn't put enough adhesive on the back. You can secure him by making sure your adhesive goes all the way to the end of that piece of paper. And that is how you make a bow. That is the largest bow it can make, and that's a pretty big bow. The smallest bow you can make is this one. This is one, or A, B, and C as well. We're going to see if we can follow the directions. This is a 6-inch. This is a 3.5, and let me make sure. Measured it as a 3.5. And this little guy right here is a 1/4 inch. You also don't need to use this. You can use ribbon or anything else like a pipe cleaner that's fuzzy. Anything will work. Piece A, we're going to put at 3. And once you've made one of these and you know the starting number, you don't need any other directions. It's super easy. So if 3s are starting for here, we want to put it at the score line or at the bow line. because we're making a bow. You cannot see the bow guide because this one's so short. You just have to eyeball it the best you can. So if you want to go straight down that line, and again, guys, it's the paper, it's not the punch. It had no problems punching the cardstock. This is a very waxy feeling paper, and I have a feeling it's because it's the edge, it's folding it over and trying to do it. But like I said, this is the back side, so when you make a mistake like this, you just simply cut it out and go with it. Now we're going to do the next piece. This is the B piece, and it's 1 3/4 is where we're going to punch it. And now we need to do our little flaps. I would have preferred this to be longer. Just make it longer. Make sure you put the bow guide in the center of whatever length you want. Another thing you can do is you can round out the bow to give it more shape quickly. Using score tape or hot glue is the best choices for these bows. And we're simply putting each flap to the center. And then we're adding the center of this bow to the center of the little, I guess you would consider this the ribbon tail if this bow was made out of ribbon. You also can make this in different colors. You don't have to have the bow match the flap. In fact, if we turned this over, we would have a similar but a little bit different print. And then you have this little tiny piece right here that you're going to put adhesive on. And this time I'm going to make sure I go all the way to the end of the paper. I mean, we're talking super skinny, guys, so we're going to put it all the way to the end. And now I'm going to put this in the center and basically just fold it under on both sides. And now I have a bow. So this is the largest and this is the smallest that you can make using this board. And that's the bow. The next thing you can make is a box. I'm going to make just a simple box. I've got a piece of cardstock here that is 8 by 8. And if I'm going to do a box, and I started with a piece of cardstock that was 8 inches square, it only gives you one size here because it wants your cardstock to be square. If you watch my other videos on the box punch board, you know that we do not have to make just square boxes. Those same guides, those same measurements will work for this board as well. Because whatever you start with is how you're going to end up with your pretty little box. So this box is going to be a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 by 1 3/4. We're going to use a square piece. So what the starting line is going to be the large, and the score line is going to be the small. So the starting line, box starting line, is going to be the large. The score line is going to be the small. So this, and this, and this. Everybody with me? Let's get out our score tool. So our starting line is going to be large because that is what this tells us to do. We're going to punch. And we're going to watch here. Another thing you can do, is open this up so that you're not going off the paper, which I think is a really good idea. The envelope punch board does not have this. The box does, but the envelope punch board does not have it. So we're going to put this back here. We're staying with the gold. This is the box score line. It is the gold writing. It also says envelope score line A, and then envelope score line B, but we're going to stay with the box score line. So that's box score line A, B, and C. So we put this on here and we punched it. So now we're going to score. We put this over here, we punched it. There's 3 places for your scoring tool to go. Here, here, and here. This is a box, so we don't need the third one. We're going to go in this one. Then we're also going to go here, the box score line C, which tells us on here that we need to use the S for small. And you're only going to go down to the score line you just made. Okay? So score line A, score line B, score line C. Then you're just going to turn it back to the large. You're going to score. You're going to score. And then you're going to score. Just to that line. It actually doesn't go any further than that line, but it's so easy just to stay to that line. You're going to turn it again and go to the large line, punch, score, 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 turn it, large, punch, score, score, score. And now we have all 4 has a punch. There is a box in the center scored. That is what we want. So now let's make our box. Now we've made boxes super easy to do, but first thing let's do is let's punch our corners. If you want the little latch to hold the box closed, you're going to do this side. That makes this little flap to hold your box closed. You're going to punch all 4 sides. If you do not want that little slit to close your box, you're going to use this side, which just rounds the corners, like what you saw when I punched that side. We just punched the side that has the slit. So now all of these score lines make your box. So you're going to fold them. Depending on how secure your cardstock is, and if you pushed too far scoring it, you can easily rip it. And as you see, I did. Now, if you've used your cardstock before, you know if it's thick cardstock or light cardstock. If it is light cardstock, you need to make sure you press lightly. This is new cardstock for me. I didn't know how it was going to do. Apparently, this is not going to be good for boxes unless I press lightly, because it actually just scoring the line ripped the paper. Okay? The instructions will explain to you to do all of the sides. Then it will explain to you to flip it over so that you can do the other side punches. You don't have to do the scoring line. You just have to line it up to the L and punch. What I'm going to tell you is when you see these little triangles right beside a cut out triangle, that triangle needs to be punched. So you can put it back in here on the large. We're upside down now, so that you have 2 punches to make the box. You're lining it right back up to the large, and you have to punch all 4 sides. You have to have 2 on all 4 sides. Okay? The next thing you need to do is you need to fold in these little diagonals, and that was this score, the small. You just simply fold them in. And that's going to give you a box that closes. I'm going to do this one side at a time. I don't have my hot glue plugged in, which is what I would have preferred to use. So we're just going to do this. You're going to put score tape on the inside of that fold. If you use too much, you're simply going to fold that score tape back on itself, so don't worry. If you've used too much, just fold it back in. Take the paper off both sides. You're going to work one side at a time. You're going to fold this in, and when you do, that score tape is going to stick to the side of the box. You're going to fold this one in, and it's going to stick to the side of the box. The next thing you want to do is put score tape inside, and I prefer the wider one for this. You're going to put it along the outer edge where the fold is. And again, I really recommend hot glue for this. It's not only faster, it just seems more secure. By putting it on the fold line, when you close it up, you will have a more secure box. Put this one inside. Now, if you've never seen a box made with a punch board, I do have a video showing the box punch board. It is going to be the same exact steps, the same exact measurements. It's just going to focus on the box itself, not be focused on the 1, 2, 3 or the plain box punch board. And you're going to put it on the line. See how easy that is? And now I have my box, and you see how my box is ripping? That is because I was too heavy with my scoring lines. And for this video, I'm just putting clear tape across it. It's not a big deal for me. If this is a gift box, it's going to be enclosed anyway. So you're not going to see the inside to know that it was taped up. Now for the other one, I want to put the adhesive so that it goes against the opposite side. So I'm going to put some score tape on the inside triangle, just to hold it down to the box, or to the other side, I should say. It's going to just flatten just like that. I know it's harder to see my hands when I'm inside this box, but I'm on the inside triangle, and I'm just wanting to glue it down to the outside piece. And now I need to put a piece of score tape on each folded edge. If you want to see more videos on scoreboards and how to do paper crafting, among other things, make sure you subscribe, and then make sure you come check us out on my Facebook page so you can join in on the fun. I guess I need to stay within the camera. We're just simply going to push that down so the fold itself is nice and secure. And come over here into the other side. This is really weird paper, guys. It's very waxy feeling. I liked the colors, and it was the last pack of paper at Hobby Lobby. I guess they're done for the season. I'm not going to have any more Christmas paper. I thought it was really pretty, but I don't think I would buy it again unless I'm using it for cards. I wouldn't use it for boxes. Now our box is complete. Show you all 4 sides. Now these little slits are on opposite sides so that you can close. I had trouble last time with these. There you go. You can close the box and latch it. And now I did not have to use any tape. I used nothing to secure the box closed. And it makes a really cute gift box. You can make a very, very wide range of sizes. This is not all the boxes you can make using this punch board. Come get my spreadsheet so that you can make other size boxes as well. So we've made boxes and we've made bows, and the next thing is an envelope. Let's make an envelope. We're going to use paper. This piece of paper is 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. I wanted to just make absolute sure. So with 6 1/4, we're going to make an envelope for a card that is 3 by 4 inches. Now remember, this is not the envelope size, this is the card size. So if we're making a envelope for a card that's 3 by 4, this envelope is going to be slightly bigger. So if a card size 3 by 4, our paper size is 6 1/4, then our punch guide is 2 3/4. And that is all you need to know is 2 3/4. Remember, this is the envelope and this is the envelope. 2 3/4. Again, make sure you check again, double check always. 2 3/4. We put that on the line and punch. And we're going to use our envelope scoring line, which is right here. Now you're going to turn it. You are not going to measure again. You're going to use that line. So you're going to turn it this way. You're going to line that up with this score line here. You're going to turn it again. Actually, I think this board wants us to score both lines. Let's give that a try. That is different. It's much different than the envelope punch board. It only has the one line, so you only score one line at a time, where this one wants you to score the line. Oops, do you see what I did? I did not punch that. You line it back up with your scoring line. By having this have 2 score lines, it was much easier to line my little did-it back. So on the original one, you only had one scoring guide. But on this one, envelope scoring groove and box scoring line. So you have the actual little marker here, but it's not sticking out like this one. So you line it up to the groove itself. So you can line it up to this little bitty flap, or you can make sure that it's lined up with the actual line. So this is a little bit easier, I guess you could say, to making sure you're getting it correct. Now we're going to use this side because we're going to round the corners. All 4 corners I round, even though you're not going to see all 4. I like to have them rounded. And then we're simply going to fold it into an envelope. We put adhesive on the bottom part of the flap on both sides. Both sides, the bottom gets adhesive, and then we fold it up. And just like that, we have the perfect envelope, which you can make in any size. Now remember I said this was a 2 by 3. It is a 4 1/2 by 3 1/4 size envelope. And that is so that a 2 by 3 card can fit in there comfortably and not be busting at the seams. So make sure when you read the guide, you know that that's card size, not envelope size. So here we have 1, 2, and 3 on our 1, 2, 3 punch board. I'm going to stop here. Make sure you join me for another video on the 1, 2, 3 punch board so I can show you the other items that this punch board makes. This is my first look, my first try on these items using the 1, 2, 3. I have made these items on other punch boards, but not this one. So my overall, I like it. I like the fact that it has the double lines for the envelope. You're going to see that in another video where we can make thicker envelopes to put thicker items. I like that option. I like that it has the 2 scoring lines for the envelope. It helps you line it up, helps you keep it straight. I do like the instructions being in, or the measurements being inside the flap, because when you're over here with your piece of paper down and you forgot what you're doing, you can refer to this. Instead of when you're here and your paper is on the punch board, you have to move your paper to see where you were. So I do like the little door flap. Overall, I would give this board a 10 out of a 10 because you can do multiple things with it, and they've shown you can. Even though they don't give you a wide range of sizes, we can figure that out for ourselves, which we have on other items. This board is a multi-function board instead of a one project board. So I do recommend it. If you don't have any of these punch boards on your Christmas list and you have none of them in your craft room, I recommend putting this on your Christmas list. And this is a great board to start with because it gives you options of 3 very different items. This is a great board to start with. I did get my board on Amazon. Make sure you check it out. Also, make sure you like and subscribe this video. If you want to see other punch boards, let me know in the comment which punch board you would like to see next. Thanks guys for watching, and as always, happy crafting.